We are living the most extraordinary time humanity's ever lived through. And it's gone through some amazing stuff. But we're about to be replaced by apex intelligence. We have only known the world where we are apex intelligence. And we're living that, seeing it every day, playing out everywhere around us. And it's an extraordinary moment that people can't get their heads around. There's all sorts of different opportunities within this whole space that will not be for institutions, that still gives us an edge, that gives us the opportunity to do things. Whether you hated them or not, meme coins showed that you can form capital instantly in the billions of dollars, and anybody could do it.
Humanity is entering a period where technology, artificial intelligence, and digital finance are no longer separate stories. They are now colliding at full speed. While most people are still debating whether crypto is real or whether AI is dangerous, governments, institutions, and billion-dollar companies are already restructuring the financial system underneath everyone in real time. And this week, two major developments made that impossible to ignore. South Carolina's governor officially signed a new law allowing businesses to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for transactions, while explicitly prohibiting the government from participating in a central bank digital currency system. At almost the same time, President Donald Trump signed a new executive order designed to accelerate the integration of digital assets directly into traditional financial services and payment systems. That is a massive shift. Just a few years ago, crypto was treated like a fringe experiment. Now, entire states are openly defending decentralized money, while the federal government moves toward integrating digital assets into the backbone of the financial system itself. And according to macro investor and Real Vision CEO Raoul, this transformation is happening alongside something even bigger: the rise of artificial intelligence, autonomous agents, tokenized economies, and an entirely new financial infrastructure that could completely reshape how humans work, invest, and build wealth over the next decade. What Pal is describing here is not just another crypto cycle. He believes we are entering an exponential age where AI and blockchain merge into one giant economic system, and the people who position themselves early may have access to opportunities that never existed before in human history. In today's video, we're going to break down why Pal believes crypto holders are still massively early, why Wall Street's arrival may actually strengthen the space instead of destroy it, and why the next phase of this market could be driven by AI agents, tokenization, and a financial system where anyone in the world can finally compete on equal footing. If you enjoy macro analysis, crypto insights, and videos that connect the biggest technological shifts happening in the world right now, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and let's get into it. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
How do you feel about, is there a part of the narrative that's been lost with the Wall Street adoption?
I don't think so. So I wrote a piece on this in 2013, which I said, and this was before smart contracts had started, I said, listen, the entire financial system is going to go to blockchain rails. It's good for the financial system. It's a better system for them, but it also happens to be a better system for us. It's a better system for everybody. And my mantra for 10, 11, 12 years was, we can front run them all. We had the first time ever to front run Wall Street. And we still have the opportunity because they're only just starting to build. So we had the opportunity to do all of this. And this plays into that idea I've been talking about, which is this universal basic equity. So here we've got this technology that we now know is part of the agentic stack. Agents will transact on blockchain rails. So when we fear what's going to happen to our jobs, how are we going to get income, there's a really simple component part is we can own the infrastructure layer for the first time in history. We couldn't own the internet, but we can own this. And you're going to, as the agents grow and AI becomes a larger part of the global economy, we can participate by just owning the tokens. It's like it's so obvious that, people fear all of these outcomes, but it's all there in front of us, and crypto is going to enable that as well. And what's so empowering about crypto is here you've got this new global infrastructure layer, the smart contract world, plus this global savings layer, which is the Bitcoin world, and it's a globally homogeneous, fungible product that exists in every country in the world, and everybody can fractionalize it, so everybody can put in 10% of their savings. I mean, you couldn't ask for something better.
Does that mean that everyone in this room can, in some respects, play the same game that BlackRock is playing?
Everybody's on the same equal footing. That's the point.
And what does that unlock?
Because before you couldn't, right? So you couldn't buy Tesla if you're in Nigeria. You just couldn't do it. Now, you can all buy Bitcoin, you can all buy Ethereum, you can all buy Solana, whatever it may be, you can now buy it on an equal footing with everybody. There's no friction in any of this.
And how do you feel about the tokenization of equities where now someone in Nigeria can also buy Tesla?
Again, it's egalitarian. Now, people might say, yeah, well, Wall Street's just using our rails to get rich, blah, 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 but it's not. It's also, it has two sides to it. Yes, they're bringing a lot of the things that we fought for, bringing in-house, but what they're coming out with is actually other things that enable other people to have access to the financial system, which they didn't have. I mean, if we look what's going on right now, it's like tech stocks are all going vertical. But we're seeing the tokenization of those that allows other people to participate in this massive disruptive technological moment in time that we were talking about.
And so those who are skeptical and say, we don't need the banks, we didn't need any of them, we were doing fine on our own, it sounds like the argument is really, why can't we all play in the same sandbox?
It's, again, if it's an infrastructure layer, everybody's going to use it. And we can use it our own way. We were talking earlier about Zcash, if you want privacy. There's all sorts of different opportunities within this whole space that will not be for institutions, that still gives us an edge, that gives us the opportunity to do things. I mean, whether you hated them or not, meme coins showed that you can form capital instantly in the billions of dollars, and anybody could do it. Now, it might have been used for internet attention, a meme, but it's going to be used for other things soon. And so that's, again, try and raise capital. How hard is that business? It's miserable. But if you can get attention online for an idea and you can raise $1 billion in a day, okay, that's really interesting.
So you see meme coins really were the primitive to get us to where we are today, where the attention economy can actually be monetized.
Yeah, so crypto's hilarious because we hyper-speculate everything as the way of testing it.
Yeah, we do.
Then it blows up, we move on, but what happens is all the learnings move on to something else. We'll see it with NFTs, we're seeing it's splitting towards digital art, but it'll also be, what else can we do with a non-fungible token? Yeah, it's a contract, it's an individual contract, and we will hyperscale that. People don't realize how big NFTs will be, but they're going to be the fabric of our economic system, but just not yet. So we're going to see a lot of these kind of things, and the crypto speculation part is actually good, because it speed tests something that normally would have taken like a decade to test. Us lot of degens will test the whole lot in 6 months to breaking point.
Buy $10,000 of Bitcoin on a regular exchange. It grows to $60,000. That $50,000 profit? You could owe $10,000 or more in capital gains tax. Now do the same trade inside a Roth IRA with iTrustCapital. That growth? Tax-free. You keep the full $50,000. Same crypto. Completely different outcome. iTrustCapital lets you hold crypto in a self-directed IRA, trade 24/7, and secure your assets with institutional-grade custody. You can also hold gold, silver, and stake certain assets. Real U.S. customer support. $100 bonus when you fund through the link below. In crypto, structure beats timing. Every time. Raoul Pal is framing crypto as something far larger than price speculation. In his view, blockchain technology is becoming the infrastructure layer for the next version of the global economy. For years, critics have argued that institutional adoption would somehow destroy the original purpose of crypto, but Pal's argument is almost the complete opposite. He believes Wall Street entering the space validates the technology while simultaneously giving ordinary people access to the same opportunities previously reserved for massive institutions. Pal points directly to countries like Nigeria and emerging markets because historically, access to global assets was heavily restricted. Most people could not easily buy U.S. stocks, venture investments, or participate in the growth of major technology companies. But crypto changes that dynamic completely. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and eventually tokenized equities create a financial system where participation becomes globally accessible, and this connects directly to the bigger AI story. Pal believes AI agents will eventually transact on blockchain rails. In other words, the machines, applications, and autonomous systems powering the future internet may rely on crypto infrastructure to move value, verify ownership, execute contracts, and coordinate economic activity automatically.
We are living the most extraordinary time humanity's ever lived through. And it's gone through some amazing stuff. But we're about to be replaced by apex intelligence. We have only known the world where we are apex intelligence. And we're living that, seeing it every day, playing out everywhere around us. And it's an extraordinary moment that people can't get their heads around. You know, we talk about stuff like this. We talk about, oh, the robots are coming, right? We think of robots as C-3PO and they're going to make us a coffee and be nice to us. On the other hand, we're developing AGI. That brain is going to go into a robot. So it's going to be smarter than any human, more dexterous, stronger, faster than any human exists. We're bringing super creatures into the world, and whether we merge with them or not, that's all in Ray Kurzweil's time horizon. By about 2040, we get to all of this. And most of this is going to happen in the next few years. I mean, the robots are coming off the production lines as we speak, and the limits of AI, they're sort of more than doubling every year at the moment. It's an extraordinary time. I remember when I started writing about this, called the exponential age, and everyone thought, what's he talking about, a macro guy, they're supposed to be doomers. And I'm like, no, we're about to go through a hyper-acceleration of everything. And since COVID, we've hyper-accelerated everything. And what we've gone to is, you know, we all grew up in crypto of things like Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe's law is the adoption of a technology and how you value it. Crypto was the fastest pace of adoption of any technology the world had ever seen, faster than the internet. AI is Metcalfe's law squared, Reed's law. It's the only example of Reed's law that actually exists. That's what we're living through. You see this, there's an amazing chart that ARC produced of the number of words that humans produce per annum from the Gutenberg press onwards. AI has now overtaken that, producing more words than humans. By 2028, AI produces more words than all of humanity has ever produced. And this has happened in the space of 5 years.
You seem inspired by it. Is there a part of it you fear?
Of course we fear the unknown, but you've got to imagine that if AI was based on the compression of all human knowledge, we are part of it and it is part of us. If you were to destroy humanity, which is the general idea, then you get rid of the best form of compute that exists on Earth, which is this weird, messy human compute driven by this human thing called qualia, humans' perceptions of the world around them. That creates this really complex compute that nothing else does to that scale. And for AI to remove us doesn't make sense. But it's also hard for people to understand what it means for their jobs, their livelihoods, how we have to work, everything around you. So yeah, it is scary in some respects.
What does your AI stack look like? How are you using it personally?
So I use it for almost everything I do now. Really, it's my thought partner and my mentor. It does tools as well, but it's not. I don't treat it as a tool so much as a thought partner and mentor. I've put my entire database of 21 years of global macro investor into a database, one on this universal code idea that I've been building out, which I've now got 220,000 words written with AI on. I use those. I'm building a whole Raoul operating system for all the other parts of all of the stuff that I've got, because I've got so much content, personal, public, everything else, putting it together to navigate all of that. But now I've got it down to, it becomes a thought partner. I start thinking about an idea, fleshing it out with the AI, and I can press kind of go, and I can write a 5,000 word essay in one shot. I mean, it's extraordinary what you can do with the outputs. And like everybody else, I'm building my own dashboards. I don't code and all of that. All these dashboards are ridiculous. We're going to have excessive dashboards that everyone's building.
Right.
But yeah, so it's every part of it. And I use Claude, and I use ChatGPT, and I use Grok. And I'll switch between them for different things as well.
You mentioned.
I've also got an AI version of me on the Real Vision platform.
That's what I was just asking about,
in my voice, trained on all of the free content I've ever produced, plus a lot from behind the paywall on Real Vision. And people can come and just talk to me. It'll even read charts, so you can give it technical analysis charts, economic charts, and say, hey, Raoul, what do you think of this? And you can do it in voice or type it, and it comes back. It's wild.
The people who are out there who say, AI is really a threat to labor, like, what's your response to that?
Look, it is going to be a threat to some labor. The labor market shifts, how we participate. But we've got to be honest with ourselves, is humans are not going to be the best at certain things. And that's okay. That's why we used horses, and that's why we're not as good as other things at other things. What we have is a huge advantage in this planet, is we're the only things that can be human. Right? And the currency of humans is attention. With love at the top of the stack, but attention is our currency. It's how humans work. and we will pay each other for attention. I always use the great example of chess. In the last 35 years, no human has ever beaten a computer at chess. Yet the chess industry is the largest it's ever been. Why? Because we love messy humans playing messy humans and figuring out. The sports industry, like this, look at the cost of sports clubs, just keeps going vertical. The size of music tours, it's all the same thing. Human experience is really valuable to us. And if we don't have to do spreadsheets, but we can do human experience, community-based stuff, whatever it may be, it'll grow.
This is where Raoul Pal's thesis becomes much bigger than crypto alone. He believes humanity is entering a period of hyper-acceleration where artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, finance, and digital networks all begin compounding simultaneously. And whether people realize it or not, crypto may sit directly at the center of that transition. Because if AI becomes the dominant force powering global productivity, then the systems coordinating value exchange, ownership, identity, and payments become incredibly important. That is exactly where blockchain technology enters the picture. Pal's argument is that humans are not simply being replaced. Instead, the economic structure around human activity is evolving. AI may automate enormous portions of labor, but humans will still dominate areas tied to creativity, community, culture, attention, and shared experience. And in a world increasingly run by intelligent systems, ownership of digital infrastructure may become one of the most important forms of wealth preservation available. That is also why he personally uses AI every day as a thought partner, rather than just a tool. The speed advantage alone is enormous. Research that once took days can now happen in hours. Complex ideas can be tested instantly. Entire workflows are being compressed in real time. And this is exactly why so many investors believe the next decade could produce some of the largest wealth transfers in modern history. Not because of one single coin or one single AI company, but because multiple technological revolutions are now colliding at once. You have governments legitimizing crypto, institutions integrating blockchain infrastructure, AI rapidly accelerating productivity, tokenization opening access to global markets, and a younger generation increasingly living inside digital economies rather than traditional systems. The people who understand these shifts early may have a major advantage over the next several years, because by the time the average person fully realizes how much the world is changing, a large part of the infrastructure may already be built. And that is really the core of Raoul Pal's message here. The exponential age is no longer coming, it's already here. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.